Hey, how are you?
I'm good, Carol. How are you?
I'm doing good. All right. So today we're going to talk about some of the projects that we've gotten to work on in the past, and some are still current. And so one of the things that's really cool about a couple of these projects is we know some of the most recognizable businesses like Apple and Oculus VR and Under Armour were all started as side hustles. And one of the most impressive things about these projects is these are clinicians, and they have very demanding jobs already, and they're doing side projects because they're just trying to make the world a better place, and they see technology as a way to do that. So we've partnered with some neurosurgeons and some people that are at the top of their field in the medical industry and other parts. So if you'd like to learn more about those things, just stay tuned. All right. So ThanksRx is a health and wellness app for physicians. And so it was founded by two neurosurgeons at the Department of Neurosurgery at Duke Health. And it provides positive news and time banking features and access to wellness resources for the physicians to create a more positive workplace, because we've heard, physician burnout is a really big deal, and it's really prominent in the industry. So Jay, so as you think back to working with the ThanksRx team, which was originally a different name when we started, what do you remember most about that project?
I think the most memorable thing that comes up is a time we had Teresa on a call, and she was in between surgeries, and so she's like fully decked out in scrubs. She's on her iPhone doing a Zoom call. She's in the hallway in the hospital, and, hustle and bustle behind her. And she's got you can tell she's got like a CT scan over the side. She's sort of looking at, they just came back, and she's a little distracted looking at somebody's brain. and we're all like, if you need to go look at somebody's brain, that's okay. And we can call back later.
I know.
So, but she's like, oh, no, this is for tomorrow or something. So it's really wild that they're doing like brain surgery, and then their side hustle is, they're also starting a technology business.
I know. It's pretty wild. I mean, especially since, we talk to each other and computers and stuff all the time, and, they're operating on people. So we're like, you are literally saving lives. So, you need to go, that's fine. So I remember when we started, it was maybe a small project because they wanted to address physician burnout. And when I think about it, one of the things that they did right is when they started with a problem that they experienced themselves, and they wanted to make it better for those that they work with. And so I think that's one of the things that they really got right, is they saw a problem and they wanted to fix it. And now they're expanding outside of Duke Health, or they're trying to expand outside. And so they're using their network and people they know in the industry. So from a technical perspective, Jade, what's something that you would highlight from that project?
Well, maybe not so much technical, but I think one of the neat things they did was, they created this app that, is really positive and has, you get rewards and reward your colleagues when they're, doing sort of helpful, good work stuff. But they're also bearing in that some clinical questionnaires to sort of gauge physician health, like their mental health over time. And so, it's the fun stuff that brings people back to the app, but it's that it's those questions about mental health that are sort of sprinkled in, not too invasive in there, that lets them sort of track in aggregate how the doctor population is doing over time. And especially we started this project before COVID. And so they've been able to track that information, throughout the pandemic response and stuff. So that I think has been super interesting how they implemented that, and sort of, got some veggies in there with the candy.
Veggies. All right. And with that, why don't we talk about Vital Flow? So another project we've gotten to work on is Vital Flow. It's a remote patient monitoring app that helps prevent or try to predict asthma attacks before they happen. So Jay, what do you remember about Vital Flow?
Now Luke Marshall is one of the founders. Now he he studied under that inventor guy, right? The guy who made lithium ion batteries.
Oh, wow.
Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah. That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's two away on the Kevin Bacon score of the guy who invented lithium ion batteries. So that's, that's pretty neat. Yeah, but they were, we help them out a lot with their data collection. And so, data from the patient's device, measuring their spirometer, measuring their lung function, and then environmentals, from both like EPA environmental data about air quality and also local air quality stuff. And they're feeding all that into machine learning to help predict that, predict asthma attacks for folks. So that's, I think that's a super interesting way to sort of apply machine learning in a very, in a way that actually like really affects the day-to-day life of a person and helps them make decisions about their health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think for us, our team has a lot of NC State grads. So it was kind of cool to see that some of the technology was pulled out of NC State University, and Luke and his team have taken it to market, and they've raised money, and we got to help them kind of like in the very beginning of the project and hand off and go, hey, go build a development team. And we got to be a part of that. And so we were appreciative to get to work with them and help be in the ground floor of that company growth. And so last but absolutely not least is Florida Dysphagia Institute, one of our favorite clients to work with, mainly because we need to leave about 10 to 15 minutes of the call for jokes, like at the beginning of the call. Always laughing when we're talking to them. So Florida Dysphagia Institute, so despite the fact that swallowing disorders are really, it's an awful thing for sufferers, and especially as we think about COVID and people that had to be intubated and the impact that it has on swallowing for the patients, there's still a relatively small community of researchers that are focused on ensuring better treatment and evaluations for patients. So Jay, we've been working with the folks there for a while. They are so well known in their industry. I remember we worked with them for a few months, and I Googled their names, and Dr. Curry and Dr. Carnaby showed up in news articles about dysphagia. So they're doing a lot of things right now. So tell me a little bit about the work. I know you worked with them directly, and we're still doing some more stuff for them as well.
Yeah, they're doing, it's very important to, for people older people, folks who have strokes, things like that, swallowing is a huge issue. And, folks can, if you don't swallow correctly, you can basically inhale food, and that gets in the lungs and can lead to pneumonia. And that's obviously like really bad. So, they're basically developing a whole suite of tools, an online community, this whole sort of integrated experience for clinicians who are using their techniques to help diagnose and help people with these issues, and also for potential patients to come and find folks. But yeah, Mike and Giselle are great. Mike is a character. I think my favorite memory of Mike is the time apparently he has an Olaf the Snowman costume.
That was so awesome.
So he showed up one time on a video call in full Olaf head and did Olaf for about 15 minutes. So
I think he did that for my daughter, who was, home during the pandemic. At least we'll go with that.
Sure.
Yeah. So they're definitely doing a lot on the technology side, and it's definitely interesting to watch them because it's a very specific example of clinicians who are using technology not only to help their community and the population, but it's also, side business for them, and they're growing that as they think about retirement and future and kind of, almost maybe their legacy. They probably hate me using that word, but
Yeah. They're also, Mike, by his own admission, is, not a super technical guy, which, he exaggerates. But we're able to help them with sort of the, the mobile app, the web stuff, things like that. And they see that as a tool and engage with us to help, employ that and distribute it. But they're really, going forward, and they see technology as a real tool to further, their mission. So I think that's really great that they're willing to sort of embrace things that, they're not experts at, to really push forward, their agenda for, better swallowing health and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, cool. So if you made it this far, so thank you so much for watching and letting us talk about a few of the projects that we've gotten to work on. And, I think over time, we've just learned, people that are experts in their field really care about making the world better and making our populations better, and are very focused on solving a problem, really find a tremendous amount of success out there with using technology as a competitive advantage and also a way to another revenue path. So for anyone who's here that's looking to start a software side gig, definitely check us out at Oak City Labs. You can even schedule a free consultation to run your idea by us, and we'll let you know what we think. Thanks for watching, and thanks, Jay.
Thank you, Carol.